You are watching the B Vibes Music Entertainment Podcast.
Hey, hi guys, this is B Vibes from the B Vibes Music Entertainment Studios here in Lagos, Nigeria. We're keeping it real right here, and I say good afternoon to everyone here, and I hope you guys are doing great. Okay, previously I said something about the voter fraud issue in America, and facts have started rolling out in multiple states where Donald Trump was clearly in the lead before all of a sudden a miraculous lead came from Biden from a vote that was already 95% counted and finished, just about to be declared for Trump, and Biden took over. So I would say something very, very critical here. Voter fraud is real, and there is a lot of facts to prove that claim. Once again, I'll bring something from Tucker Carlson, the only person right now in the mainstream news media who is actually objectively reporting, okay? Objectively, not taking sides with either Donald Trump or Biden. He's objectively reporting the news. So I would play you his video and you guys will see for yourself exactly what I meant about real voter fraud. Dead people voted, people who changed location, which is totally against some state laws, voted. There were glitches in the systems and a whole lot of things went down. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Something you want to see for yourself and judge for yourself. Okay, I'll see you guys. When you guys finish this video, I will see you guys on the other side of the video.
It's been more than a week since the final votes were cast, and still many of Donald Trump's 72 million voters believe this election was fundamentally unfair, and they're right about that. There was massive outside interference in our democracy, and it didn't come from Russia. The tech monopolies of Silicon Valley used their unprecedented control over news and information to silence Donald Trump's voters and at the same time to protect Joe Biden. And then public health authorities and blue state governors wielded the pandemic like it was a partisan political weapon. It's hard to believe they actually did that, but they did do it. Democrats completely changed the way we voted in this election. Our system has never been more disorganized, and it's never been more vulnerable to manipulation. So was there voter fraud last week? That's a question we've been working on since election night. We've tried to be careful and precise as we report this out. In moments like this, truth really matters more than ever. False allegations of fraud can cause as much damage as the fraud itself. Jussie Smollett hurt more people with his lies than any actual hate crime. And the last thing America needs right now is more damage. So we want to be accurate. What we're about to tell you is accurate. It's not a theory. It happened, and we can prove it. Other news organizations could prove it too. They've simply chosen not to. The position of corporate media across the country this week has been very simple. There was no voter fraud. The New York Times, once the paper of record, declared that as fact this morning across the entire front page. Look at this banner headline. Election officials nationwide find no fraud. No fraud, none. End of story. Move on and listen to Kamala. You're hearing virtually the same thing from everyone in the media. Everyone. At CNN, the anchors have been repeating the approved message for days. They say it with a kind of brittle intensity that suggests precisely because they don't really believe what they're saying, you absolutely must believe it. Shut up and accept the verdict, America.
Sources tell CNN that top aides are suggesting that the defeated President Trump, hold rallies to drum up bogus conspiracies about election fraud.
The GOP keeps spreading completely unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud.
The Attorney General now telling federal prosecutors to look into those unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud.
There is no evidence of widespread voter fraud, no evidence of widespread flaws in the mail-in voting process.
Bogus conspiracy theories, completely unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud. They say it again and again, but what exactly are they talking about? They won't tell you, so we're going to tell you. Right now, fewer than 15,000 votes separate Donald Trump from Joe Biden in the state of Georgia. It's close enough that it's worth getting specific about what happened there. And Georgia's Secretary of State has now confirmed there will be a hand recount of all votes cast in Georgia. Among those votes, auditors will find a ballot cast by a woman called Deborah Jean Christensen. It'd be hard to find anyone who's got a bad word to say about Deborah Jean Christensen. She was well known in her community for years as a bird watcher, an avid gardener, a committed fan of the Georgia Bulldogs. Those who knew her were sad when she died last May, and they might be surprised to learn that even after her death, Deborah Jean Christensen still managed to register to vote and then cast a ballot, presumably for Joe Biden. In some ways, it's an inspiring story, the triumph of voting over death. And no one quite embodies that story like James Blaylock of Covington, Georgia. Mr. Blaylock was a mailman for 33 years until he passed away in 2006. 14 years later, according to state records, he was still mailing things. James Blaylock cast a ballot in last week's election. How did he do that? It might be worth asking the New York Times. Maybe James Blaylock was just one of those extraordinary mail carriers. Neither rain, nor snow, nor gloom of night, nor even death itself could keep him from the mail. In his case, maybe voting from the grave wasn't really fraud, it was just commitment. Okay, but what about Linda Kessler of Nicholson, Georgia? Linda Kessler died in 2003. 17 years later, she was still voting in presidential elections. Edward Swinott of Trenton, Georgia, spent his life working construction and teaching school. In his spare time, he loved bluegrass music. According to those who knew him, he played multiple instruments and enjoyed jam sessions. When he died 5 years ago at the age of 82, it seemed like he was gone from this world for good. But no, last week he voted for president. And he wasn't the only one. On your screen right now, you will see the names of other deceased voters. Every one of them played a role in last week's presidential election. As of tonight, there aren't enough of them to alter the outcome. That could change as we learn more. But for the moment, the point is, they exist. They are dead, but they voted anyway. The question is, how did they do that? How exactly did they cast their ballots? And the short answer is, by mail. Dead people tend to vote more often when you make it easier for them to vote. They're like any other group. And this year we made it much easier for the dead to vote. States sent ballots and registration forms to millions of people totally unsolicited. The pretext was COVID. We had to do this for public health reasons, remember? We had no choice. It was a public health emergency. The effect was to encourage fraud. Who did this? We don't know who did it. We wish we did. We should know. It's fraud. It's a threat to our system, and it's being hidden by a news media totally vested in a Joe Biden presidency. Again, we have a right to know, we have an obligation to know much more about this. But thanks to the media blackout, it is left to independent conservative sites, places like The Federalist, to report what the rest should be reporting but are not.
That was Tucker Carlson of Fox News, the only objective reporter right now in the United States of America, laying it out exactly what happened on that election day. And there just may be a path to victory for Donald Trump if most of those states go through the recount. And I don't know what will happen after then, but let's see what happens, okay? Trump still has a path to victory, because if he doesn't go that way, he might also end up at the Supreme Court. So until I come your way next time, I want you guys to stay cool and stay blessed, stay safe, be nice, and know that these times that are happening are times signaling the end of this world. So you guys should just take it easy, take life easy, and be good to your neighbor, okay? So B Vibes Music and Entertainment signing out. I say peace.